I just interviewed an incredible woman named Chasitey Kyle. She became a widow at 34 years old with 5 young children at home. And after finding love again, she gave birth to a happy, healthy baby boy who later passed at 18 days old. Chastitey's faith and resilience has kept her going, and now she's here to share her story with the goal of helping turn her pain into purpose. Come join us for our conversation. We're going to do this. We tried a few times, so we're going to get to it. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Um, so I have heard your story. I think it's incredible. And I know that it not only touched my life, but I know that it's going to touch other people's. So that's why I needed to have you on as a guest. And I'm so grateful that you said yes. So thank
Well,
you.
thank you so much for asking.
Yes, yes. So before we share your life with everybody else, can you tell us a little bit about what childhood was like growing up for you?
Yes, I was from a military family and very, very young parents who had troubles with their parents
Mm-hmm.
um, growing up. So, I mean, my parents loved us, and for sure, I'm the oldest of four,
Mm-hmm.
and being in the military, we moved a lot, so very close family. But was raised in church, went to the youth group,
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, Wednesday things. Despite my parents dealing with a lot on their own,
Yes.
uh, church was a priority
Mhm,
growing up, and I was saved when I was 11, and then
mhm.
into high school, stayed active in anything youth related, but didn't quite really dig in like I did until my battles really started.
Mm. So when you were growing up, you were the oldest. So I
Mhm.
assume you took on kind of a motherly figure with that. I
Mhm.
mean, is that true?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that just it tends to happen. The oldest
Yeah.
daughter type thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you see anything modeled with your own parents in regards to grief that they went through and hardship that showed you, okay, well, if they can do it, I can do it too?
Um, Not so much grief, like grief with loss,
Hmm.
or death.
Hmm.
More, I saw their marriage struggles, and that came into play into my life, much later,
Hmm.
because even though they had many challenges with that, they stuck it out. I
Hmm.
mean, but not so much with grief. My mom had lost her dad, but he had never really been in the equation.
Hmm.
My dad never really had much of a relationship with his mom. I
Hmm.
mean, so
Yeah.
there wasn't true grief as far as that
Yeah.
goes. So more of what I saw with my parents was an example, and not always the best example of marriage, but
Yeah.
overall, learned a lot from it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so can you take us through high school and you know, young adulthood? What was that like for you?
Um, High school, I had seen lots of things that I mean, I truly was, not tooting my horn, a good kid. Like
Yeah.
I held myself so accountable, just always. And I think that's part of the oldest daughter,
Yeah.
just being
Yeah.
responsible, being, motherly, to my siblings, all that. I just always was like a little adult. But
Mhm.
in high school, I was a good kid. Of course I've always been friendly and talkative, but I didn't drink, I didn't party. I would have fun,
Mhm.
I never tasted alcohol. Um, and into uh, at the end of high school, I ended up being a teen mom. Um, and that really started a lot of my faith. I mean, deepening my faith, because I questioned a lot, like, how in the
Mhm.
world could this happen to me? When so many people are doing so much worse, like, God, why me?
Mhm. Yeah. So I mean, that's a big decision at that, at a young age, a critical decision to decide to obviously be a parent, raise a child. Um, did you have support during that time?
I did.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, even though I was such a believer, I considered options.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and honestly, I don't think I've really talked about that. I even in my story that you heard, I didn't get into that, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was terrified
Mm-hmm.
and considered options. But I told my dad first, and he was very much supportive. Told me how much my mom would support, that I would be okay. Hey, you will be okay. This is okay.
Wow. That's wonderful.
And even though I went pretty far with considering options, but I knew at the end of the day, I knew right from wrong, and I
Mhm.
couldn't do it. And yes, I had support at
Yeah.
home. So
Yeah. How were you able to get through that time with, I know you have family support, but with your peers and other people kind of doing their own thing? I mean, what made you hold on after you had her and continue to just know that that was the right decision for you?
just foundation in my beliefs.
Mhm.
I knew it was the right thing to do. And even though I was terrified, and I felt like I was being punished,
Mhm.
all of that went away when she got here.
Yeah.
So, even when I do hear about stories now, or young moms, or people that, even having just additional children that they didn't plan for,
Mhm.
surprises, that's just one of the things, as I always tell them too, is it is scary. Yes, I know it is scary, but
Mhm.
as soon as they get here, every fear goes out the window. So,
Yeah. When you met her, I'm sure. And now
yeah,
she's 20?
she is 20. And she's one of my best little buddies. I'm so proud of her. One of the best things I've ever done.
Ugh,
So,
it's so wonderful. It just shows like you just don't know what the plan is for you, you know,
wow.
especially as a teenage mom. So that's awesome. So, okay, so you go on and when did you end up getting married?
In 2006.
And how
So
old were you then?
19.
19. Okay.
Yes. So,
And you fell in love, got married,
yes.
and share that story with us.
Um, yes, we just met through mutual friends, and just, and we were friends at first. Um, really, he had a girlfriend, and it was, the
Right.
same. We ended up being friends, and after they broke up, I tried to, introduce him to a friend, and then we just hit it off really,
Mhm.
really quick. And I remember at one point we had planned to go fishing, and I had plans, but it opened up to go fishing, and I was like, well, I can reroute it. And I remember I ended up changing my plans and going fishing. And I remember on the way there thinking, I'll marry him, and I
Really?
did. So
You just knew.
yeah, no.
Oh, cool. So you get married, and when was the first baby after marriage?
He was pretty soon after 2006. He was born in December of 2007. So the
Okay.
following year, right as I was turning 21. So turning 21 with two kids.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Wow. And that in itself is a lot. You know, I mean, two young kids, young mom. Um, and can you tell us, I know if we were to fast forward a few years, your husband ended up getting sick. And
yes.
can you share that story with us?
Yes. So I, in 2021, he, and at that point we had had five children. My youngest were 2 and 3 at the time. He got sick. He couldn't work, so I was working and supporting the family. And
Mm.
he started swelling, and we couldn't figure out what was going on. That was in January. He started swelling. By April, we figured out it was his liver. And so we were relieved. Okay, we can work on this. May, he continued to swell. Took him into the emergency room to drain some fluid, because I heard you could do that. And they
Mhm.
said he was an active liver failure and would be lucky to make it another 6 weeks.
Wow. It did now was he a drinker? A big drinker?
Alcohol was in the equation, yes.
Hmm.
It had taken a toll on our marriage a couple years prior. Um, and what's hard is, well, yes, that was a factor, and had been something that we dealt with. It's
Hmm.
also, he was 36, and it
Hmm.
was like, there are 80-year-olds that still drink like crazy, and this doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
yes,
Hmm.
and yes, we were told that was one of the biggest factors, but he also had fatty liver disease. So it just seemed like there was, genetically something
Yeah.
wrong with his
Predisposed. Hmm.
liver. It wasn't hereditary, or anything like that. There's no history of it,
Hmm.
but it
Wow.
was obviously just unfortunate. So we spent the next couple of months after that trying to get him on the transplant list at Vanderbilt, and they said he, would be lucky to make it 6 weeks, but we couldn't get an appointment for 8 weeks. So I tried getting him in sooner at other hospitals, and we ended up getting bumped up, and we did all the workup for him to be on the list at Vanderbilt. That was in July of 2021. And he had improved so much from May to July that we thought, okay, like there's some more time here.
Hmm.
Um, you know, it doesn't need to be done right away, which is great because a liver transplant isn't a cure. It
Right.
it buys more time. Truthfully, 10 years after the liver transplant is a good thing.
Wow.
So for me was still, I mean, it was still terrifying, but that's where we were at
Wow.
that
So 5 kids, a
time.
very devastating diagnosis, but then there seems to be a little bit of a rainbow. Like, okay, he's doing better,
Mm-hmm.
and then COVID happens.
Yeah. So then he gets COVID, and I had COVID. he got COVID, and he said he needed to go to the emergency room, and we had a trip planned actually. I had won a trip from work, and we were supposed to leave town, and I'm like, "You're okay, you're okay." Like you have a
Tough it
fever. I have
out.
it too. I'm fine. And if you
Y-
take, if you
Yeah.
go, they're gonna keep you. It's all over the news.
Yeah.
So he said was, I felt like he was having trouble breathing, and
Hmm.
he was such a hypochondriac. It was funny. I mean, so it was
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, you know. Um, and then he went, and of course they admitted him, and I
Hmm.
saw that coming, and he was okay. He got weak because they kept him in the bed.
Mm.
But we would FaceTime every day. At that time, the kids were 16, 13, 8, 2 and 3. So we would FaceTime, and he was okay. His oxygen was low,
Hmm.
but that was it. I mean, otherwise he
Wow.
was okay. So
Hmm.
then he was COVID negative. Finally, it had been 14 days. They tested him. He was negative, and I was getting to go see him on Saturday. FaceTimed until midnight. It was like I think 12:03 when we got off the phone Friday night. And then the kids had ball games in the morning, and I was going to go sit with him in the hospital Saturday. And I got a call at 5:30 in the morning, and it was the hospital saying that his heart had stopped for 34 minutes, um, and that they did get him back, and that he was being ventilated, and moved to the ICU.
Mm. Wow.
So I asked, okay, can I come? They said, well, he's on the COVID floor. You can't. I said, no. They tested him yesterday. He's negative.
Hmm.
Um, so they had to check and call me back. They called me back at 6 on the dot. I had already been putting my clothes on because I knew he was negative,
Yeah.
and went. And it took a while for them to let me in. They were working on a room, and then I finally got in to see him, and it was scary. But the whole time I was thinking, this is okay. I know this 34 minutes is scary, but this is
Hmm.
okay. Like this isn't his testimony. Like,
Yeah.
because if this can happen to him, this can happen to anybody. He's such a
Yeah.
family man, like literally such a family man. That's all everybody knew about him. So,
Hmm.
um,
And he was young and otherwise healthy-ish, for the
36 years old.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, how with 5 kids, there's no
Yeah.
way he's not going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that day, uh, he wasn't conscious, so I needed to get the kids situated. So since he wasn't conscious, I thought, okay, I'll leave, I'll get the kids situation, and I'll come back. I'll be here when he wakes up. So I left and went to. By the time I was getting to drop one off at the ball field, the hospital called back and said he's not going to make it through the day. You need to get here. Um,
And did you
and
believe it at that point? Were you like, "No, I know him. Like, this isn't" were you still kind of in denial at
Oh,
that point?
absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, I was like, okay, Lord, faith of a mustard seed. Like, I know this just sounds worse,
Mhm.
and but this isn't happening.
Yeah.
Even though getting that call made my body go numb, you feel like you're on fire. There's a physical feeling of hearing that while I have the 8-year-old in the car.
Yeah.
And it's looking back, I feel like there was a camera over me, like it was a movie happening. And get out and have to take him to our friends. And then I'm calling because the little girls, I needed someone to come get them because I knew my big kids would want to go.
Mhm.
Um, so I had to tell them. They don't know anything that's happened at this point. I have to tell them what's happening and take them because I know they're going to want to say goodbye to their dad.
Yeah.
And that part is a blur.
Mhm.
And at some point, our pastor had called and we ended up at the hospital. And it was, he never came to, but family started showing up because I had shared about it through the day.
Mhm.
That is a blessing for me as far as social media. And we were so connected in our community. Um, I'd asked for prayers and kind of said what was happening. And I
Mhm.
mean, my goodness, people started showing up all day. His heart ended up stopping 3 times that day. They had asked me about a DNR. Um, and I said, absolutely not. Without question, he'd want you to do everything in your power to keep him here. Like,
Yeah.
I know what that means. I know what you're saying. But again,
Mhm.
this is not our story.
Yeah.
Um, I remember watching the monitor that day. And then at one point, his body temperature started dropping. And they had asked me if they could bring this thing to put over him. And yes, I want you to do it. I want you to do everything.
Yeah.
I mean, because if this doesn't turn around, we're going to know we did everything. I mean,
Right.
um, and then it was about almost 10 o'clock that night. A friend, a family friend, a friend's dad had said, it's time.
Mm.
I think it's
Oof.
time to let him go. And it was hitting me then by that late that this wasn't turning around. And
Mm.
so I didn't have much of a choice.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, went and let them stop what they were doing so I could lay with him
Mhm.
until they made me leave. So,
And what was your husband's name?
Doug.
Doug.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you I can't imagine just as a say you were single and you lose your husband, but you have 5 kids at home. Like, I'm sure you wanted to crumble. I don't know, this is just what I'm assuming. How do you move forward? What were those first few days like, if you can even remember? I don't know if they were a blur or not.
I remember the hardest part was literally leaving the hospital, knowing that I had to go home and tell them that he really wasn't coming back.
Mm.
Um, I had no idea what I said, but 2 of my friends drove me home. My house was full of people, like my family. Uh, and I just went in, and the little girls couldn't figure out what was going on. Again, they were 2 and 3. I was potty training them.
Mhm.
They're 11 months apart, so it was um while I had to take off of work while he was in the hospital, I was potty training them because
Mm.
I hadn't been able to.
Yeah.
Um, so
Wow.
I talked to the big kids, and yeah, I don't remember what I said. I know it was something to the degree of, I don't know why this is happening, but we know that we have to trust God's plan and we're going to be okay.
Mm.
Um,
Wow.
and yeah, so I don't know. I don't know
Wow.
what I said, but that was the hardest part. The next
Mhm.
couple of days, my house was full of people. I was bedridden. I mean,
Mhm.
honestly, I didn't get up. Thankfully, people were staying all, we had a good sized house, and
Mhm.
people were everywhere. They just kind of took charge of the kids. People were dropping things off and showing up, and I have
Wow.
no idea. I mean, I just, my body felt like the physical toll is something you cannot describe.
Mhm.
um, where you feel like been hit by a truck, but you can't sleep, you can't eat. You literally feel like there are little needles poking all over your body. So for me, that's what that felt like. Once I made it to the bedroom, I mean, I just, yeah, physically couldn't hardly function. And then you're being asked, because you got to make all these decisions. And at
Mm.
34 years old with 5 kids, I mean, I don't even know what to think. I mean, how do you even think of that? So it took a couple of days, and then finally, yeah, I had come up with my wishes, and thank thankfully, I have a good friend who was my best friend. Actually, kind of took that over, and I just kind of
Wow.
said what I wanted, and they all stepped in and handled things. So
Thank God.
I mean, I was truly just mourning.
Yeah.
Um,
How were you able to mourn, but then also be there for your kids? Or did you feel like, okay, they're okay because they have people? I feel like a lot of times moms are hard at being vulnerable. It's hard to be vulnerable around your kids, right? To crumble or to be devastated around your kids because you don't want them to feel a certain way or this or that. Were you able to be vulnerable with your kids? Were they able to see and be a part of the grieving process with you? Or
yes,
did you hide it?
for me, and time will tell, and other people don't have to agree, but for me, I felt like letting them, that they had to see me grieve,
Yeah.
that it wouldn't be healthy for them, for me to pretend like I was okay. I
Yeah.
mean, because, and I don't know, and not everybody may feel the same way, but I felt like they had to see, and then it was okay. It was okay for me. I had to give myself the grace
Mhm.
that I can't do this right now. Like I can't stand up.
Mhm.
So, my daughter was 16 and a cheerleader. She had the cheer team, and yes, you can go with your
Mhm.
friends. They can come over. They can be with you. My son, his school family was fantastic. They can come over and be here.
Mhm.
Grandparents, yes, please take the kids to the park for the day. That's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, honestly, like whatever they can do to also distract them, to not only see me laying here,
Mhm.
but then yes, I can't, I'm not okay right now. And I,
Mhm.
I thought that was healthy for them to see. I think it's realistic.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's right or wrong, but that's what I did.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you did what you needed to do for all of you,
Yes.
you know? And that's all we can do sometimes. It's like, gosh, you're not trying to win an award, you know? It's you're trying to survive at that point, I'm sure. So,
Hmm.
what what were some things that people maybe said to you that were really helpful during that time? Because I think of other women who may be going through something similar, or men. Um, my father, my stepfather alone, he's a lonely widow, and he just it's been 9 years, and he's still I feel stuck. You know how how did you get? I don't even know if I don't even know how to say it, unstuck, or to that point where you feel like, okay, I can take a few steps forward?
Um, I'll say I was, even though I was mad at God then.
Hmm.
So
Hmm. Hmm.
mourning, grieving, in the bed, really just physically not functioning. Um, I was mad at God that I really didn't think this was our story, and how in the world can this be happening?
Yeah.
And then after about 2 weeks, it was, I think, just over 2 weeks, um, I knew I needed to hear from God.
Hmm.
And of course, to hear from Him, opening His Word is the best way to do so. And I had Jesus calling.
Hmm.
Um, the devotional, it was in my closet, and I knew it was there, and I hadn't opened it on purpose because I didn't want to hear anything until that point, but then
Hmm.
decided that I needed to hear from Him. Please speak to me.
Hmm.
And I think it was October 6th, I think. I don't have it in front of me so I could find it. But where uh, I went into the closet and opened, and the basis of it said, "You may not understand what I'm doing, but follow me up the mountain, and it'll make sense coming down
Hmm.
the mountain."
Hmm.
And that sent a numbness through my body, of just, wow. I mean, I knew you would speak to me. I mean,
Hmm.
I hoped you would speak to me, and obviously you're speaking straight to me.
Uh,
Um, and that helped start shifting my mind to remember God is good,
mm,
and all things work
mm,
for the good of those who love Him.
mhm,
And so then, I don't think, I mean, I didn't go into details about this, but we had a trip planned for fall break that year. So it was right within 3 weeks, a month of this happening. We had a trip planned, and we were going to renew our vows for our 15th anniversary. And we were
mm,
going to St. Thomas with all the kids. And,
yeah,
um, that was on us. And I'm like, what do I do? This is non-refundable. We this, we that,
yeah,
whatever. One of the things, my mom and even my sister, my mom was a widow, by the way, because I lost my
mhm,
father.
mhm,
And my mom and my sister, said, I think you should go and take the kids. And I've always traveled, with business and all anyway. So that's not much for me to, to go alone.
mhm.
Um, but they said, I think you should go. I mean, and my sister specifically said, I'd much rather cry on an island than in my bed, and I thought,
Yeah,
well, okay. And I know, some people, not many, but there have been a couple that were kind of critical, um,
they don't
because
have your
I
best
just,
interests at heart.
I'm right. So I decided to go. I had not left my house. I had
Mm,
not left the house, but said, okay, I would take the big kids. I couldn't take the girls by
mhm,
myself. But they, stay with my mom. So that pushed that was just a landmark that kind of
mhm,
forced me to get on my feet. And
mm,
then school started back, after that. They obviously were out of school during that time. And then that got me on my feet out of the house, kind of functioning. And then I knew I had to get the kids back to school. So
mhm, yeah.
um
Did you have days where you went back to bed? Like, where you reverted back?
oh yeah.
Or yeah.
I spent a lot of time. I had a porch swing made. It was one of the twin size beds.
Mhm,
I did move out there a lot, but as
mhm,
soon as I would get the kids to school, I mean, I would just go right back there.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, I feel like a lot of people they can't understand grief until it happens to them. And I used to be one of those people that, before my brother passed away and my mom, well, before my brother mainly, I learned the lesson with him that society puts this like a time where you can grieve, right? Where it's like sufficient for whoever, society or people, where it's like, okay, well, it's time to get back to normal. But grief does not have a time frame. It can come, it can go, sense can trigger something that makes you cry, or a sound or song on the radio, things like that. But what do you wish people could know about grief, and what was some of the best advice that you got or
Um,
support?
I mean, yeah, grief is crazy. One of the things that struck me, just, I mean, for an example of how grief can impact you when you're finally functioning, when it looks like, oh, she's okay. Um, I went to go get in my car after not having left,
Mhm.
again. I had to drop the boys off somewhere and my car wouldn't start. And instantly, as a widow, I mean, I had full panic
Mm,
run over my entire body because who do I call?
yeah.
Who do I call? And that's just an example of just how triggering minor things can be, and grief can overtake you
Yeah.
when you least expect it. Um, even still now, 4 years later, I mean, certain breezes take you
Mhm.
back. The body keeps the score is a real thing,
Yeah.
I mean, so um, anything can be triggering, and I don't know about the best advice that I've gotten from a person because
Or
honestly,
what could someone do for someone who's just lost somebody? What
uh,
would be something that was really helpful or that you felt great about, something that someone did for you?
we had so many people do things that I hadn't thought of. Somebody paid to have my grass mowed for the rest of the year, and
Oh,
that was
wow.
something that didn't even cross my mind. Um, that another friend came out and mulched my flower beds. I hadn't even thought of that, and that
Yeah.
just those things stuck out to me because think of everybody has the best of intentions when they
Mhm.
say, like, if you need anything, let me know.
Mhm.
No, do something, do
Yeah.
anything. If you have an idea, just do it. And because, hello, me, oldest daughter type thing, I'm sure not going to ask for help. I'm going to figure it out. But things
Yeah.
that, like, I wouldn't think about, of course, that people brought gift cards, and then, somebody had brought paper towels and paper plates and all, just things that, I mean, my goodness, what a blessing and what a help, that those are things I wouldn't have thought of. People
Yeah.
bring food, of course, that's like the nice,
Yeah.
amazing, and oh my gosh, I was so appreciative of that. I don't think I cooked the rest of the year, so I mean, it was wonderful and such a blessing. But these other little things,
Yeah.
and don't be afraid to bring it up.
Mm.
We live with this every single day. You bringing it up acknowledges our pain. It
Mm.
doesn't hurt us. It acknowledges that you remember what we are going through. Because just because I look like I'm dressed and functioning today does not
Mhm.
mean it's not on my mind. It's never not on my mind.
Yeah, and I love, love, love that you say that because that's kinda what I was thinking is before my brother passed away, I was one of those people that if someone lost someone, I didn't wanna say anything to their face because I didn't want to upset them or I didn't but now, of course, after losing people, I'm like, "No, I want you to acknowledge, like, my brother or my mom," and, those things, so exactly what you're saying, and
Mhm.
that's why I think, like, this podcast for people to hear I never would have thought about the lawn mowing, but if your husband is used to always mowing the lawn, and then as a widow, you're like, "Oh, it's one more thing you have to figure out," right? And
Mhm.
I love that, I love that, and, okay, so now I'm
Yeah.
gonna do that. So,
Yeah.
okay, anything else you think people should know about grief? Um, what not to say maybe?
Yeah, there
Yeah,
are, because I also ended up having another loss even after that,
right, right, mm,
as well. So more.
yeah. Well, let's talk about that. So you lose your husband, Doug,
Mhm.
and you find love again.
I do. I lost him in 2021. Unexpectedly, met someone and got married in 2023, and we had an hours baby. He had two kids, and he passed away at 18 days old unexpectedly. So I was again
Mm,
within 8 days of the 2-year anniversary. of losing my husband. I had just lost a child. So grief struck all over again. And I mean, oh my goodness, in a different way.
Ah,
Um,
I yes, I can't even imagine, and I think all parents think the worst thing that could ever happen to me is
mm,
losing a child, and I'm not gonna be able to go on, but you did. You have
mm,
5 other children as well,
mm.
um, but it does not it doesn't lessen the load of the grief. I can't even imagine. How were you able a second time to not only give up, right? Like, how were you not able to how did you not give up?
For me, it's I don't have a choice because I have other kids. I mean, I'm all they have.
Mhm.
So I don't have a choice. Like I have to function.
Mm,
Um, and with the differences, because you kind of mentioned it, I will tell you, yes, it's like, oh my gosh, the worst thing you can ever go through. And I don't want to be criticized for this at all. I'm saying I have had both experiences.
mhm.
And the impact is the same, but okay, not exactly the same. Losing my child, at least through that, I had my husband.
Mm.
Um, Losing my spouse of 15 years, father of my 5 kids, I lost my entire future and was completely by myself.
Mm.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying at all losing a child's easier, but there was a benefit of having someone right there in it
Mhm.
with me. There was
Mhm.
some type of comfort there that I had that I didn't have with the loss of my husband.
Right. You
Uh,
each understood what you were going through,
yeah,
where you were alone the first time.
yes.
Yeah.
So
Ugh.
yeah, um, things
Can
not to say. I people Everybody has the best of intentions. I of
mhm.
course I know, and it all comes from a good place. But the at least comments
Ugh.
are
Can you share
hard.
some horrible at least comments?
Well, at least he wasn't older. At least you didn't have more time to make more memories.
Ugh.
And then it's like,
Wow.
no, but I lost them all.
Mm.
I mean,
Mhm.
that's not better. Um, or at least, or
Wow.
it could be worse. No, it doesn't feel like it.
My
And hey, they're in a better place. I don't want to hear that.
yeah.
No,
Y
because this isn't natural. He's supposed to be in my arms.
mm.
I know that, but that isn't comforting.
Right.
Um,
Right.
you
Oh,
know,
okay. Well,
and
hopefully people never say those horrible things. So, did your faith feel weaker after, stronger? Like, where were you with how? I mean, I know you were mad at God when Doug passed away, and then Gunnar passes away. Are you like, what the f? Like, what are
yeah.
we doing?
Lots of that, lots of questioning. Again, I am in a situation that God, why me? Please have mercy on me.
Mm,
I don't understand. And then, started to feel guilt for questioning God because it's not that. And then, even when the why me in the back of my head, it's why not me. And it's like, well, this is more than someone's supposed to take. I mean,
mhm,
this isn't fair. But of course, nothing's fair. So my mind is a constant battle of what I know versus what I feel. And what I know is God is good and
mhm,
all things work for those who love him. But yes, I mean, definitely, I don't want to say I never got to the point where I truly questioned my faith, but it just got really hard to be so trusting at times.
mm,
Um, but at the same time, part of the whole reason why I started, sharing my testimony is because it still didn't waver. It still
Mm,
hasn't wavered.
mhm.
I know that there has to be purpose in this pain. There is purpose for this. I don't know why it's me. I don't know why I can't catch a break or get relief, but I know it has meaning behind it. I know that He will use it for His glory somehow.
Mhm. Wow. Wow. I mean, I just you're incredible. And I know you've made the comment that you're not going to let this destroy you. What is the intentional what do you have to do every day to get up and have a mindset such as yours? Like how do you choose this or feel this way or somebody who's struggling um and it doesn't matter if they haven't experienced the same things that you have. Um but how do you put one foot in front of the other each day? What is there a mindset? Is there a belief? What is it that keeps you going forward?
Now, I mean, I do tell myself now because that has been 2 years. Gunnar was my son's name, and he would have been two in August. So we're 2 years beyond that. Um, Lord, please use me. I mean,
Mm,
please use me. Please
mhm,
reveal, you know, use me as a vessel. Use this pain for your glory. I don't know. I don't know how that is. I know that that's what will happen. But use you, please,
mhm.
please use me. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I'm kind of stumbling on that answer on how. Again, I don't have much of a choice. I have kids. I have to provide for. Um, and yeah, God can get the glory if I continue to trust Him and have faith, and I do.
Wow. If there's somebody out there who is struggling and feels like their life is just in shambles and they don't know how to even get out of bed, what advice could you give to them?
Minute by minute. I mean, I know that sounds so cliche, but minute by minute, and then also try to look for the good. Look for the good in the worst moments. I mean, thank Him for the little blessings along the way. For me, go back with the loss of my husband, were the people that showed up and the love.
Mhm,
After the loss of my son, my goodness, we had so many people around then again in a whole different community.
mhm,
And look for the look for the good, but also do not overwhelm yourself.
mm,
It is okay to not be okay, and I did
mm,
really have to do that. And here, well, I will tell you this. Even being a young widow, I was criticized when I did start dating.
mm,
Being out of the house after I lost my son, I had gone to get my nails done. Sounded superficial, but a friend wanted me to go, and I thought, well, I can't just lay here any longer. Like, I can't do this. I
mhm,
have to function. So do what you have to
mm.
feel okay. No one else has the right to an opinion
Right.
on what you do to make yourself feel better. Um, it doesn't have to look okay to anybody else, but yeah, I mean, drown other noise out and look for the good and small steps to take care of yourself.
Wow. That sounds like it's going to help a lot of people. One step at a time, 1 minute at a time. Um, if it sounds like you're an incredible example for your children. And what do you want them to know about you? If your story, what would be something that your kids you just want them to always believe about you?
um, just that she did her best, because trust me, I have not done all of this perfectly. um, I'm human, and she has truly fought through hell
Mm,
to keep going.
yeah, for
And
them.
that, yeah, for them. And I
Yeah.
truly believe, truly believe there's purpose for it.
Wow. Well, on a lighter note, if your story was turned into a movie, who would you want to play you?
um, I have not thought about that a lot. You know what I will say though, and one that I love, and maybe I don't know, somebody I keep up with right now, Jana Kramer. I guess I don't know. She
Oh,
does Lifetime movies, and
uh-huh.
she does a lot of those.
I was thinking Reese Witherspoon only because of the accent.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
um, well, thank you so much for sharing your story. I know that it's going to touch people's lives for sure. People who are going through not only, it could be from young moms, widows, and obviously people who are grieving uh, a loss. I mean, their story, or your story, is going to be able to resonate with them, no doubt. So I really appreciate you. I wish I could give you a hug right now. And I know we'd be
Oh,
good friends if we were closer.
yes, I'm such a hugger. So.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yes, no, thank you.
Here on From Dark to Light, we believe that resilience isn't about pretending the darkness never happened. It's about learning to rise from it and letting our scars tell a story of strength. If today's episode spoke to you, I hope you'll share it with someone who may need encouragement on their own path. Subscribe on YouTube or anywhere else that you get your podcasts. And as always, thank you for joining me in shining a light on the power of the human spirit. Until next time, I'm Julie Crawford, and this has been From Dark to Light.